I like how you start your shows too by
They just kind of
sort of start.
like we've interrupted something, and it's like the slate comes up, and it's just like, oh, we've just jumped in the middle of this long episode.
That's
kind of
how
now
I
joined it.
That's how I do random stream of consciousness. They don't even know that we're recording, and I'm just like, and here we go.
And I guess we've just been recording this all this time. Well,
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Art Miles, alongside Greg Moan
Hello.
from the Mammoth Syndicate. And who are you this evening?
My name is Joshua Tyson. I'm the lead writer and also the lead artist with the Mammoth Syndicate. It's a weekly web comic that we produce. It's a pretty small scale operation right now. I've been doing it since about 2008, and we currently have 3 titles that are going right now.
And Josh or Joshua?
Joshua, please.
Joshua, tell us the date that we're going to premiere this game here at Gods and Monsters.
That's going to occur next Saturday, September the 12th at 7 p.m.
Okay, and what kind of rules and restrictions or anything like that people should know about when they arrive here? Anything that they need to know before they arrive?
Just be prepared for some deadly game battling.
Okay, very good. Real quick, we always like to do the real quick, what are you drinking tonight? It looks like you're both drinking no, you're not drinking Monster Energy drink. Is this something you got from the beer and wine bar
that
here?
was my first stop, actually.
Yes. Tell us what you got this evening.
I have an Excalibur apple cider.
The apple ciders, people get that quite a bit here, any kind of apple drink. And you're just with the Monster Energy drink tonight?
I might have drank a little last night, and I'm just treading the waters very lightly today.
Very, very good. For the good of the show, perhaps.
For the good of the show.
Yes, for the good of the show. So, Joshua, give us a little bit of a background. You said you've been doing this since 2008, but give us a description of what the game is, what kind of cards are involved, and what is kind of the end game with this game here.
Well, we basically started last year with a couple of beta decks, and it was for 2 of our lead characters here. The first one is Amon, and the villain is Cochrane. This was actually a villain from our very first Joppa series.
Okay.
So basically the game starts where you roll a 10-sided dice, and basically highest wins. Now the initiative works where you can choose which location you want to actually battle at.
Okay.
Every deck has its own specialized location.
Okay, how many different locations do we have?
Right now we have 4, one with each deck, and then also is a special hologram card.
Okay.
That we came out with last year as well. Essentially, when you roll initiative, highest wins, you can either go first and your opponent would choose the location, or you could choose the location and then your opponent would go first.
All right.
Basically, the location gives you buffs that are universal for each player.
Okay.
For example, this one, every round you can have a 50-50 chance of getting a fairy token, which essentially just helps for damage absorption on attacks that come in. And then, of course, you have a base to all characters. One is a magic, natural, and technical skills, as identified by these numbers down here. This is basically what you have to remember.
I want to take a look, so you study it a little bit more. Now, tell us about the creation and the artistry with the cards. Is this something that you did, or somebody in your group that did the artwork on this?
I do all the lead pencils along with my partner Paulo Rosales. He actually does the actual character development. He designs them, and then I do all of the web pages, all of the comic pages, and actually most of the cards are actually done by me. I do all of the digital work,
okay,
all of the coloring, lighting, and then actually I do all of the printing as well.
How many people will play at once in a game like this?
Minimum is 2 players, obviously.
Okay.
Has no maximum.
Okay.
We've actually had a total of 7 playing simultaneously. So it's kind of confusing to, with the base initiative, but once you get past that, it's definitely a lot of fun.
So if, let's say, for example, at your opening here next week, you'll have a couple of different tables here. Does the winner of each table get whittled down into like one big table?
Is it a tournament type
situation?
situation?
A tournament type? Yeah.
I was thinking of doing a tournament type situation, but we'd have to go over the game mechanics first.
Right.
That way everyone has a good understanding of how to play it. But it is actually a very simple game. You have a base character. You are this player. You're going to be Amon in this battle. And that sits out the entire time. And then you have basically augments that give you boost in power. You have abilities that give you unique things to do to your opponent. And then you have special abilities that are unique to just these particular players. And then also equipment to give your character, for example, Amon has his motorcycle that helps him basically dodge damage and things of this nature. And then every deck is actually played differently too, depending on the type of player that you are. For example, if you like a lot of tokens in play, then Ravenous is your guy here.
Would you say that if somebody is familiar with other card games, they're going to be able to hear the mechanics once and then they're going to be able to pick it up right away and play?
With all the testing that we've had, it's been very successful. We've basically been able to run down the rules in just a few minutes, probably 10 minutes or less, and then just playing the game, people pick it up very easily because it's like a lot of other card games in the sense that these numbers right here are what you use to cast everything.
Okay.
And then it refreshes on your refresh stage.
All right. So you said you went through a testing phase with this. What was the process like of going through a testing phase? A lot of trial and error with some things.
Well, yeah, there were some clunky rule mechanics that we had to correct at first. Specifically with our Cochrane deck, the regeneration was a little out of control, and we realized that after playing it just a few hands that it needed to be scaled down pretty significantly. But otherwise, the overall mechanics worked very well, and they were all designed by our third partner, Damon Pretty, and he did a really great job at basically laying down some very easy rules that you can, it's not a 70-page manual. It's literally like 3 pages.
Good, that's good.
I would probably need a 70-page manual. I'm not a card player, so when you were talking about just very briefly some of those rules, I was phasing into what was that television show where the guy made up a game and it was like the Cones of Destiny or something like that.
I know what you're talking about. Oh my god!
And he sold it for like $1 million because it was a bunch of nerds' favorite game.
Yeah, I know.
And now I can't remember it.
I can't remember the name either.
But yeah, that's where I was glazing over and stuff like that. I mean, I like a lot of things. I just don't play the card-based games.
So. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to basically the cards themselves are all derived from the comic stories. So a lot of our fans that have been reading for a while, they can literally go through the decks and not only see actual scenes from the comics, but actually use those in gameplay too. A lot of the abilities that the characters use, the equipment that the characters use, and the locations around Joppa City and the surrounding worlds.
I can see how that'd be really rewarding to somebody who's been a loyal follower of the comic for years.
And was the comic started in 2008 also, or was the card game started in 2008?
We just started the card game last year.
Okay.
The comic itself has been going since 2008. I started it while I was working for a local cable company here. I think we were talking about them a few minutes ago.
Oh, very good. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you know somebody. I need a number.
Gods and Monsters, still no internet.
Still no internet, by the way, for the update, yeah.
When I was working for them is where I met Paulo Rosales, and he basically saw me developing this comic and was very interested in it. He had a lot of great art, a lot of pencils around his cubicle there. So we started talking and collaborating a little bit, and he decided that he would want to definitely draw for us. So he did all of the character designs. Amon is his design, this new version of Pope here. They're all based off of the designs that he did, and then they're based on all the stories that I came up with. And we've been doing it for a while, and then a few years ago I decided that I really wanted to take it to the next level. So that's when I quit my job and started focusing primarily on graphic design to get a lot better, and then I basically worked my way into a really good graphic design job here in town, and I have an awesome boss that he supports me and my product. So I have.
Imagine people in graphic design, all of them have a side project or two. So he probably understands.
Definitely,
Yes. So that was 2008 when the comic book began. Before that, what was it that kind of influenced or inspired you, perhaps, to start your own comic book?
Well, I read a lot of comic books. Even now, I have probably too many subscriptions that I should have, especially after the relaunch of Star Wars. I literally have anything that comes out, the new Lando series I picked up. And I just really wanted to get into it. I had a lot of ideas for stories. I had a lot of these characters, ideas that I had come up with, and I just really wanted to put some of my stories out there. And just as kind of not really looking for anything major, but I just had these stories that I think people would really like, a lot of the characters that I think people can really relate to, And that's kind of where I started getting into it. And then, of course, with Paulo's help, we were able to really get it started pretty successfully.
Now, as you continue now with the card game, are you going to also continue with the comic book series?
Oh, definitely. Lately, we've been focusing mainly on getting the cards going. So I have a little backlogged on the pages right now, but we are definitely still drawing them out. I got about 10 pages already drawn that I just need to get colored. So definitely, Joppa City is going to be shifting to a new series very soon called Myrna, and it's kind of a space opera type of environment. And then also under our Mammoth Spotlight, which is a rotating series, it has different stories every few months.
Oh, okay.
Our current story, Red Colony 2, it's a Martian story. That's actually only has one page left, and then we're starting on a brand new story starring Pope, our lead character. And it's kind of an origin story about his background and where he came from, how he landed up in Joppa. And I think it's going to be really exciting.
And the comic, it's 100% digital, correct? You don't do any kind of print and distribution, or is it?
Well, the comic itself is really just all on the web.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do a lot of other print work. For example, we have some posters here.
Oh, very good.
I actually
Visuals.
brought a copy for each one of you.
Oh, cool.
Thank you. I think I recognize I'd seen
Thank
this
you.
on the Mammoth webpage.
Yes, that's our lead character for Kung Fruit. His name is Applehead, appropriately named.
I think I've seen this somewhere before, and I don't know why I would have, because I don't really. Yes, this is a bombshell to everybody. I don't really follow comics, but I know I'm more of a movie guy. But I've seen this Applehead guy before, and I don't know where. Probably just somewhere.
I think he's ripe for. See what I did there? He's ripe for picking for like Adult Swim. He can make I can see this being a great comic book / cartoon character that could really take off on Adult Swim somewhere. I love Mammoth Syndicate. So you can find the game and the comic book at mammothsyndicate.com. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
So how many issues of the comic books do you have at this point, going back to 2008 till now?
Well, Kung Fruit, we actually finished the holiday edition. I usually try to do some type of Halloween, and then it rolls into a holiday type of storyline. That one went to 100 actually on January 1st.
Cool.
Wow.
And then for Red Colony 2, I'm at 34 pages, but usually my miniseries stay within 25 to 35 pages. And Joppa City, I believe right now is up to about 76.
Okay, so you're mentioning a couple of different storylines. Is it all connected? Is it all like a linear? Not. I mean, I don't believe it's linear because it doesn't sound like it's possible to be linear. But is it like one series from start to finish, or do you spin off some certain stories into a different direction, and then you're putting out almost two different comics storylines at the same time?
Well, it's my ADD that gets control of me sometimes, and it's hard for me to stay focused on one main storyline.
Mm-hmm.
So I started branching off into other ideas that I had. So we've kind of dubbed it the Mammothverse,
Mm-hmm.
and
That's good.
And basically, Kung Fruit had some storyline that involved one of the lead villains pulling in Joppa City characters. It's more of a martial arts comedy. But it is sort of connected in a way, but then at the same time not really connected.
Okay. Is it a situation where? My question was about how many times do you? Let's see. What's the frequency of the release? Like how often do you put something new out?
I try to do it at least once a week, usually bi-weekly.
Oh, wow.
Wow, cool.
That seems like a lot.
It is a lot.
I mean, a lot for you to try and put all that together.
Well, it is, but at the same time, that's kind of my passion. That's what I like to do. I'm a graphic artist at work, so it just kind of flows in when I get home. My workstation is at home is very easy. I designed it myself, and I have my Super Nintendo built into my computer, so I can.
Oh,
play.
really?
Oh, yes. I can play a few games, cool down,
Yeah,
and
see,
then get started.
that doesn't work for me because
Because you'd never get back to work?
Well, my problem is I don't really have any actual job, so I have all the time. No, it's funny, but it's not funny. I have all the time in the world to do this stuff, and I never get anything done because I sit in front of my computer, and that's like the window to everything, and I can't police myself to not go watch a half dozen YouTube videos, and all of a sudden it's 3 a.m. and I haven't really done any of the actual work I had planned to do. So I think I live in a world with way too many distractions inside my house, and I couldn't imagine having a Nintendo hooked up to my computer because that would that'd be one more thing. It's like I'll just play SMB3 for
But I guess you
Couple
have
minutes.
you have deadlines, so you have to do that.
That could be.
You live in a deadline-free world.
That
sounds wonderful.
Sickening. And you said that you write this, and you're the artist, but you say that somebody else does the coloring. How big is your staff to put this out?
There's only 3 of us. I do all the writing, and I also do pretty much all the page work from pencils all the way up to the digital coloring. I do the digital work on everything. Paulo Rosales does a lot of our covers. Whenever we change storylines, he'll come up with a cover for us. He does the pencils for our lead characters. He also actually did the art on these on our special hologram card there. All of our allies that are in the decks, he did the pencils for.
See, I'm all about the technical. I'm wondering, do you do this traditionally on paper and then scan it in, or do you use like a Wacom? I mean, I don't think you're using your touchpad on the laptop to draw this stuff out. Is it something where it starts analog and goes digital to scan into?
I'm pretty old school. I definitely start with pencils on paper.
Cool.
For everything, and then I scan it in, and I use that as a platform. I do all my line work in vector, so that I can do anything from a small card all the way up to a 6-foot banner. I use a lot of different combinations of the Adobe Master Suite. That's what I use at work, so it just kind of flows into my workflow at home as well. So
have you ever thought about? Obviously, you've thought about it, but is there any resistance going to like a drawing pad that goes directly into Illustrator that you're drawing this stuff out?
I've tried it, and
It's different.
It's way different.
Yeah.
So I'm just using that slowly, and then when I develop that skill a little bit more, I probably will do a lot more pure digital work, just because it'll save me a lot of time.
Yeah, you don't have to transfer or convert to line vectors and all that good stuff. Yeah.
And I kind of like working with pencils too, because even if I do, say, half a picture that's pretty good and then the other half is just total garbage, I can still salvage that digitally.
Sure.
To be able to still utilize that artwork that I spent 3 hours drawing this awesome part, and the bottom is just trash.
Uh-huh.
So as somebody who grew up with comic books, do you have that urge to kind of print out everything that you create so that you can have like an actual book that you can feel, have that texture and say, I made this?
Oh, absolutely. It's just the budget for that would be a lot more than I can.
I mean, just for yourself, to have
Oh,
one.
for myself.
You always just make one for yourself?
I definitely should consider that. Yeah, I would definitely like that. Just to
It'd be a collector's item, something hanging up on your wall.
Definitely.
So about a month or so
Art,
ago.
Art, ask me
Go
how
ahead.
many pictures I print.
How many pictures do you print, Greg, as a
Zero.
photographer? Oh, okay.
Zero.
Yeah, but you don't grow up with like, oh, I love photographs,
you're
I want
right,
to
you're
print
right.
photographs. When
Yeah,
it's
that's
a
true.
comic book, it's like you want to see it, you want to feel it, and you want to say, here, look at this. So about a month ago or so, I was just scrolling through the Gods and Monsters Facebook page, and I saw you had popped up a message saying that you were interested in getting involved with Gods and Monsters with what your product was. And I was reading through it, and I clicked on your link, and then somebody at Gods and Monsters said, yes, get in touch with someone. I forgot who it was. Did you say?
It was Lori.
Lori.
Mhm.
And then I had typed in, hey, when you get in contact with Lori, let me know, because this seems like a good idea for one of our web shows that you can kind of explain this. How is it that you heard about Gods and Monsters? Were you here at all during the opening, or do you live in the area here?
I do live in the area. I live in Winter Park.
Oh, okay.
So a little bit of a drive, but not too bad.
Yeah, Castleberry right here.
Represent.
Yep.
I basically heard about it when we were at Ancient City Con. I had a booth in Artist Alley, and someone had stopped by, and we were just conversating, and she lives in Longwood, and she had told me about Gods and Monsters, and that I should check it out. So yeah, that basically when we got back into town, we went right over here, and it's awesome.
Yeah, go give us a little, anytime we try and interview anybody, we try to get their impressions of what you think of this place compared to other comic book stores you grew up with as a kid. What do you think about this place?
This place is basically the dream of a comic book store when I was a kid.
Yep.
From the toys, the new comics, there's literally everything in here. And I wish I could sell this game for $1 million and buy everything in the store.
I know. I just live here. I mean, it's just I'm so comfortable here. And if you're not into comic books, maybe you're into Star Wars. If you're not into Star Wars, maybe you're into Star Trek. There is something here for everyone. It's just a great place to just walk around and find that one thing, or
Absolutely.
two things, or
There's
10
Firefly,
things.
there's Batman, there's Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Oh, is there Walking Dead? There's
Oh
Walking
my,
Dead.
yeah.
Lots of Walking Dead.
And we've been doing toy reviews here every week as well. Any kind of toys that perhaps you'd like to see come out of this? I mean, you've turned your comic book into a card game. You want to see your comic book now turned into some sort of toy?
I would love to see an Applehead toy. I think that would be awesome.
Absolutely.
I have made some custom toys of Amon out of G.I. Joe figures. And
that's fine.
Yeah, that came out pretty well.
Perhaps something you'll bring to your grand opening. What are we calling what you're doing here? It's not a grand opening. It's
an unveiling.
An unveiling, yes. I mean, you've been out for, you said about a year now. The card game's been out for a year, but now have you done anything like this?
We've done just some smaller scale demos, just to kind of test the waters, and both of those went really well. It's all in North Florida. We haven't done anything in Central Florida.
And how do you do that exactly? What are your challenges with marketing when it comes to getting the word out on a game like this and a comic book like yours?
That is the real challenge, actually. It's really about staying active with social media. We pull in a lot of hits from that, and it's really about just going into the stores, letting people know we're out there. And sometimes we do get the reaction, oh, I have seen this somewhere. I'm not really too sure where, but I know I've seen this somewhere. And then, of course, once we play the game, we talk about the comic, everyone has responded really well to it.
Good, very good.
You had mentioned something about toys. Have you done any kind of 3D modeling of, like, Applehead? Do you have anything like that? Because where I'm going with this is that 3D printing is a reality now, and I think in the next 3 to 5 years, 3D printing is going to be one of those situations where you're going to have a 3D printer next to your desk, just like you do a paper printer, and they're going to become so affordable and so easy to create the things that you need. Boy, is that going to really screw up a lot of people selling things when they can just sell the plan for it, and then there's the internet.
You're right.
So
You're right.
One person buys it, and it's like, oh, here's an Applehead doll schematic. So is that might be something that you could get into really quickly, actually. You just have to find some way to 3D model this guy, throw him into a 3D printer, and there you go, you got one.
Absolutely, yeah. My 3D modeling is not too bad. I definitely have a little bit of ring rust when it comes to 3D modeling because I kind of gave up on that and moved more towards just a full digital format. But yeah, I'm definitely interested in that. And I actually have been doing some preliminary modeling, just trying to get back into it, get my skills back up to where they need to be before I can actually model a full-scale figure. But yeah, that's definitely on the agenda.
You got to wait a couple of years anyway. The resolution's not quite there yet. I mean, it's close.
It's getting close. So I've seen a couple of news stories where you get the images of yourself, and you can make a action figure of yourself that looks like
I want
you.
that.
I know. I want
so
that
I can
as well.
ride in the POV. No, is it the POV lane?
Yes, that's right. You and your little mini-me can sit in the POV lane. So you had mentioned that you have a boss that's very understanding where you currently work now. Is there anything you can tell us about where you do work, or is there anything we can see from the company that you work at, or is there anything that we would know about it?
Well, it's a company in Longwood. It's called Liberty Creative. LibertyCreative.com is the website, and we do basically any type of print work that you would need: banner work, poster work, mailings, anything.
Do you do car magnets?
We do car magnets.
I might need to speak to you.
Yeah, I actually did 6 of them this morning.
Cool.
Boy, whoever did the car magnets for Orlando City Soccer,
oh
my God,
I'm
they are everywhere.
Seeing them everywhere.
They put one in everybody's mailbox where I work for everyone to have, because we have a sponsorship with, I work at Fox 35, and we have a sponsorship with Orlando City Soccer, and the magnets are everywhere, and I think I just see them because they're always around the office. They're on every other car in Central Florida now, I believe. Some people have 2 of them up there, and they're just the magnetic. No more. I don't think the bumper sticker is dead now, right? It's just the magnets now.
People care too much about their cars.
Right.
They don't want to junk them up with stickers.
So magnets are something that you guys you do work with?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Absolutely, that's very popular. See, you should be magnets right here. Start getting magnets for all your
magnets.
Apple magnets. Get all your characters out there. So for anybody that's interested in coming out here, again, let us know what the date is one more time for Gods and Monsters premiere of your game.
It's next Saturday, the 12th at 7 p.m.
Saturday the 12th at 7 p.m. If you have any questions about the game, if you want to, this episode will be up on Facebook in a couple of days, and they'll be underneath that. If people have any questions, anything that they need to know, feel free to put questions up there. If they have any questions specifically for you, do you have an email address or anything that you'd like to have people reach you out at? Do you like them to go to the Mammoth page? Or?
Well, basically you can go through our website, mammothsyndicate.com, and my email address there is josh@mammothsyndicate.com.
Okay.
Also, if you have an immediate question, we are always monitoring our Facebook page, and so you can get a response there very quickly, probably faster than email.
Okay. When people come out for the event on that Saturday, how much will the package of cards be if they want to purchase the cards?
The cards are $10 per deck.
Okay, and how many do you get in the deck? Like these stacks that you're showing me?
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, each deck contains 45 cards.
Okay.
And actually, if you get multiple decks, you can actually interchange the cards. They are interchangeable.
How many player characters are in each deck?
Right now, each deck has one player card. This is basically you as you battle your opponent.
Oh, I
And
understand
then-
now. So
and-
you buy a pack, and that's your pack to play. Okay. See, I'm
Exactly.
such an idiot with card games. I don't even know if that's the way most card games are.
But it's set up very similar to a comic book style, because you have this is you, and then you'll have allies that assist you, equipment that you put onto your character, and then his overall abilities.
Now, when you purchase a pack, do you get to see who that player character is?
Yes, actually, I have two of the
Great. So
factory-
it's not random like baseball cards used to be.
Okay,
It's
so
like-
you can see.
I gotcha. Okay, very cool.
And actually, those are for you guys to keep.
Oh, excellent.
Thank
you.
you. So if we wanted to come out Saturday night, we're already got one foot in the door.
And it comes with the D10. It's already included in the pack.
Oh, the dice.
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
all right, that's it. Now I got to open it.
Well, if I wasn't going to be in,
You're out of town.
I'm in Tennessee next weekend. but-
Okay. Also, that's a good question. Is the plan now for you to be here other nights other than the opening night on Saturday? You want to have other events here?
I would love to have other events here, definitely.
I'm not sure how that works out here. People like tonight? I know Magic the Gathering is tonight, but then people also just show up here and play their own games. So
Yeah.
So you can have it organized, or you can just kind of show up on your own. But is that the plan for now? You're just gonna perhaps just wait a little while and start another event on Facebook?
Well, I actually have been here a few times, and we've just been playing at one of the tables over here. So if I'm ever in here and someone walks by and they want to play, I always have a few decks available. But after this event, yeah, we're going to be setting up a lot of events. Specifically, we're coming out with 2 more character decks next year. They're going to be 2 Kung Fruit characters. More than likely, those 2 right there, Applehead and T-Rex. And then
I want the Applehead deck.
the Applehead deck right now is in play testing, and it is a lot of fun to play.
Cool.
I think Applehead's going. He's going places. I remember just playing D&D a lot back when I was a kid. Just spin that 10-sided die.
And the game itself is called Dimensional Devastation, correct?
It is, yes.
Is that
Dimensional Devastation.
a story from the Mammoth universe?
It's not. Basically, if you imagine, it's sort of like a free-for-all to see who the most powerful character is in the Mammoth-verse. And so right now we have lined up 12 total player decks. And then, like I said, we have 2 in play testing right now that we're going to try to launch next year. And then we also have an expansion pack planned for later next year as well.
Have you tested playing like? So this guy is Cochrane?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm assuming you've tested where Cochrane plays Cochrane decks.
Definitely.
Is that a completely unique experience to play the same player characters against each other because there's different strategies and such, because you know all the cards that they have, and obviously because you have the same cards? Is it a completely different gameplay than if you were to choose a different character?
Well, the randomness of the cards is one thing, and then also the 10-sided dice is incorporated to add even more randomness. So sometimes you'll get a completely different hand. Maybe in your hand you have a lot of allies to start off with, whereas your opponent, maybe he has a lot of equipment to start off with. And then your allies give you extra abilities to utilize in battle, whereas equipment pretty much gears your character up for battle. So there's a lot of different scenarios if you play the same character with the same character. And also if you play evil against evil or good against good.
I think that's why I never got into the card games, is because I'm very competitive, but I'm also pretty dumb. So I don't know and can remember all the things that these people can do. You mate this card with that card and like double super whammy power and stuff like that. So I'm hesitant to.
It's a thinking man's game.
I know.
They want you to think. They want you
I don't
to
want to
learn,
think.
and they want you to.
Well, the good thing is each card, it specifically tells you what it does. For example, on your base card, the little sword up here is an indicator of what your power is. That's your regular damage capacity every round. If you don't play any cards, you can still attack with that power.
I see.
Here it is. Okay.
Essentially, every card is going to either boost or lower that of power. Then you have other cards that will lower your opponent's defense and things of that nature.
Okay.
I have the Defender of the Weak and Protector of the Sick here. That they should definitely be married. They could do a lot of good together, I think.
Well, Pope's deck is very unique in the sense that he has 2-player cards.
Oh, he does. Okay.
He has 2. The green borders indicate a player card, along with the little guy, guy running here.
So there should be a second one in here. Oh,
yes.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then there's purple cards.
Here's Nighttime Pope and Daytime Pope here. He's got a helmet on this one.
Oh,
like
so when he goes out clubbing, he puts the helmet on.
Clubbing at night. I'm just looking at the differences between the two. There's a lot of artwork here. I mean, every card is different. I mean, you put a lot of work into this.
This was a combination of about 200 hours of digital work.
Jeez.
Wow.
I don't think I put 200 hours into anything.
Well, luckily, like I said, I do a lot of my work in vector, so I was able to pull a lot of stuff from the actual pages of the comic.
So scaling worked. Okay.
Yeah, and just turn those into the cards.
When you do vector, can you do vector graphics after color? Like, will they remain color, or do you have to recolor everything?
I do vector with color, and then sometimes I'll render that out as like a PNG or something, and then add lighting effects.
Oh, I see.
Depending on what I need it for.
Salvation. I want this guy on my side, but he could use a sandwich. He looks really hungry, this guy. It might be one of his weaknesses that it doesn't say on here. Weakness,
hunger.
Starving.
Yes.
This is fascinating. I love to just all the artwork on this. It's just you don't print out the comics for yourself. You keep that digital, but then again, you've got these. In a way, this is kind of your version of printing out your comics right here.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Is the comic still growing? Like, are you seeing new subscribers all the time?
Our web hits have been up drastically since the launch of the game.
And that's the comic is a subscription-based situation, correct?
It is not.
It's free.
It's free, yes.
No shit.
Oh, that's very nice of you.
Then I need to check that out.
Well, I like
I'm cheap.
I like to keep the comics free because, like I said, my ultimate goal is I like to tell these stories about these characters. So I don't want anyone to have to pay to read the stories.
Okay.
I wanted you to read the stories, grow an appreciation for the characters and the story,
and then play the game and buy the cards.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I also have posters and things like that as well. That you could also get from our online store.
He's going under the model of what's the music industry is right now. The albums are free, but if you want to play the game, you want to come out for the action, you got to pay the money for $10.
I've always felt that that's the way music should have been. Like, I think it's ridiculous to charge somebody $15 for 10 songs, and then they pay $65 to go watch you play those 10 songs.
See, Joshua's figured that out. He gives away the comic books for free, and then people want to start playing the games. Oh, well, that's where you got to spend the $10, but you get the 10-sided die, and you get a whole stack of cards. How many did you say? 45?
45.
45 in a deck. I say very well worth it. Well, I hope that Saturday has a very good turnout for that. I always work Saturday night, so I can't come to the Saturday events here, and I feel like I'm missing out on a lot of cool stuff here on Saturdays. They had a Star Wars swap meet here.
Cool.
On Saturday, the day after we had our web show here, and just people coming here with their Star Wars stuff, and hey, you trade you this for that, but it's also the people who make their own Star Wars stuff, and they come out here and swap that. Like, I have a friend who, he's like, oh, I got a furry Chewbacca that I actually made with my own fur, and like, that's my own little special character. I mean, people are very creative.
When he says his own fur, though, that kind of worries me.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from. You know what, I got to look into that, actually.
Ew.
Okay, so if this Saturday is a success, perhaps we'll see you here on a couple of other Saturdays or events. Maybe we'll have you come on down. We're having
an update to let us know how things are going.
Well, yeah, we have an event that we want just everybody to be here for, and that'll be for the Emmy Awards. We're big fans of Game of Thrones and American Horror Story, things like that. So we're going to do a live podcast on September 20th, which is a Sunday night. Sunday nights are hard for people. I know you got to go to work on Monday, but
are we doing a live podcast?
If we can get that internet here, yes, we're supposed to be.
Oh, God.
But the idea being people want to come out and they want to play their card games, or they want to watch the Emmys, or they want to fill out the Emmy ballot and submit it to win a prize and go on and play their games. Come on out. More than welcome. We're trying to have as many people out here as possible. Either you watch the Emmys or just come out and play cards if you want that night. All right. So once again, I want to make sure we get the info out for the Mammoth website. Tell us again.
The website is www.mammothsyndicate.com.
Mammoth Syndicate. All right. And again, if people have questions specifically for you about the game before they come out on Saturday,
Josh at mammothsyndicate.com, or you can hit us up on our Facebook page, facebook.com/the Mammoth Syndicate.
okay. You have any questions for Josh? Any other questions you can think of? I want to make sure we hit everything here.
No, I'm suddenly interested in card games though.
Yeah.
Which, good job on that one.
Absolutely.
Because I haven't really had an interest before.
Well,
Success.
I'm really glad you guys like the artwork. 'Cause
Absolutely.
We did put a lot of hard work into that.
And that's cool. I mean, each card has got its own individual special artwork. Did you pull a lot of this artwork from the comics, or did you draw these specifically for the cards?
The player cards, the allies, which are the blue border cards, those are all new artwork.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the other, well, actually Pope's deck is almost all original because I didn't have the type of cards that we had. I didn't have anything in the comic that related to that. So I had to really go to the well and dig pretty deep to get that deck done.
All right. Well, if you want to see Joshua on Saturday, or you want to come out and play the game, just come on down to Gods and Monsters Saturday night. At what time was that again?
7 p.m.
7 p.m. this Saturday.
Next
Saturday.
A week from this Saturday, the 12th.
A week from, okay, the 12th. I'm trying to remember when this
What day is
episode
today?
airs. And yeah. Okay. So Saturday the 12th.
Yes.
Come on down here at 7 p.m. You can meet Joshua. You can meet the creator. Will anyone else be here of your creators, of your three of you?
Well, Paulo should be here. I really hope that he's able to make it. The game designer, Damon, he actually has to work.
Oh.
So he's trying to get out of that right now. Hopefully he'll be able to make it out as
Because we're
well.
going to need the three of you to be monitoring. You got to walk up and down the tables to make sure, in case anybody has any questions or anything like that. So you'll be here to answer questions. That's good. At the very least, you will be here.
Absolutely, yes.
So that's good. Well, thank you for visiting us here at Gods and Monsters. We will see you here on that Saturday. The name of the game is called Mammoth?
It's
No.
Dimensional Devastation.
Thank you. Dimensional Devastation from the creators at Mammoth Syndicate.com. Thank you very much, Joshua,
Thank
for
you.
coming down. And
Appreciate
thank
it.
you for the deck, and thank you for the poster. I
You're
appreciate
very
that.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.